Yeah, because, if you see other people look like they all fit in together, in this group, these people all fit in together, but then if you feel like you don't fit in anywhere, you're going to do whatever you have to probably try to fit into something.
Hello, everyone. We are Greg and Jackie Francis, and welcome to High Performance Parenting, where our passionate goal is to encourage you to raise champion children in a crazy world. Every week, we will bring you multiple episodes from our extensive experience of raising our six happy, healthy, successful, godly kids who are confidently equipped to win big in life.
We deeply believe that any parent who is provided with the right knowledge and continual support can raise amazing kids. And when they do, all of our futures get better. If raising up future generations of absolute champions matters to you as much as it does to us, here's how you can contribute. Like and share this podcast with everyone you know. And together, let's embrace this journey of raising champion kids in a crazy world. Okay, ladies, part 3.
Here we go.
Here we go. Hey, Bella, by the way, thanks for doing the meal prep recently. Some of my favorite meals are the ones with eggs, but you do have to watch what you say around egg whites. Do you know why? Because they can't take a yolk. That's a good one right there.
That is a good one.
Now you'll think of it when you're making eggs.
I know. She's
All right.
dead.
Well, I don't think that most parents understand the level of pressure that teens are under right now. So today we're going to go straight to the source. What pressure do you think that kids your age today are feeling that parents don't see? Is it image? Is it school? Is it fear of the future?
I feel like for some people, one of the biggest ones is image, for sure. Especially if they don't get their love tank filled up like was in the last episode. I feel like they try to search everywhere else for it, But I feel like some people can also turn off and just isolate themselves when they don't feel that. And they're like, it's just going to be this way, And some people are like too much of a flirt and try to go out and do too much in high school. And that's when they get in real serious, like, trouble. You know what I mean?
It's almost like they have such a desire to be seen as something.
Yeah, important. They want to be something important and something wanted.
Something important to somebody or people. So then they probably have different experiences of things they've tried, and then they did get some attention for it.
Yeah.
And so then they kind of started pursuing that.
Yeah. And I feel like people, especially like for people who are like not the top, for like top tennis people, let's just go back to tennis, is like they know that they are good. They know where their value is in, whereas some people who are kind of like in that middling stage or maybe right on the edge of not being the best, they try too hard to just fit in with all the kids, and they get like all goofy and trying to brag on themselves and everything like that, or they just isolate themselves thinking like I'm just not the best,
Right. So if somebody doesn't take you very seriously for whatever reason, and then you start choosing to be a jokester, but then you get attention from it, now you almost just like become the jokester.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's just like, it's hard because then the coaches see you that way, and it puts a totally different like image on what you are to the coaches, just because you wanted the attention, because you just felt insecure,
Why do you think that some kids, can even go a direction of maybe they were even pursuing a way of being in sports or a certain social group, and then next thing you know, they've kind of gone a different direction. They're starting to do almost a little bit more like the goth kind of a look, or the different colored hair, or you know what I mean? You guys have seen this. Why do you think that happens?
I feel like people can get pretty insecure and then start trying to make attention for themselves by dressing a certain way or looking a certain way, and I feel like they also get influenced by a lot of social media kind of stuff, and I feel like lots of kids feel a lot of peer pressure and things like that, and then they're trying to kind of fit in, and
so there's such a pressure. If we're, the question is, what pressure do you think that most teenagers feel that parents may not see, and that part of that pressure is finding a place to fit?
right,
Because if you don't fit, then what are you?
right.
That's probably what you feel.
Yeah, and I feel like because lots of kids and things like that go to school and sports, you're like with a lot of people all the time, and you want to be the cool kid or popular or whatever it is. And so I feel like a lot of people feel kind of the pressure of that. And then maybe if it doesn't work, they're like, I'm going to get attention in a different way. And then they start dressing a certain way or looking a certain way and, things like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good. What do you think is the hardest part of being a teenager right now?
I feel like teenagers is kind of a unique stage of life because you go from being a kid to being an adult, like within a certain amount of years. And you're just kind of like, I feel like there's an expectation to be able to mature from being 12 to 20, you know what I mean? And so I think it's sometimes kind of hard to balance getting mature but also having fun in certain ways, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like one of the biggest things probably for some people are like, it's hard because I see these freshmen and stuff like that, but they feel like they should be adults already. They should be thrown into all the stuff that people are doing at 18 that probably isn't good or is good, like with boys and everything like that.
So a 14-year-old freshman feels the pressure of trying to fit in with an 18-year-old or 17-year-old senior.
Almost kind of like that idea, like, but doing it with more of the freshmen, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I feel like it's hard because high school is classified in like this wide range of age, from like 14 to 18. Mm-hmm. And I feel like people are grouped together and then like the freshmen who are so young and still need to learn a lot more are thrown into what the seniors are doing. Mm-hmm. And they just see all that. And it's really hard. I feel like a school atmosphere is really hard. I don't think they are so concerned about school. 'Cause school is hard. It's mostly about fitting in because that's what they're around all day. It's not like they're around other things. Mm-hmm. It's all school. So they try to fit in their school. And then it can just really, really turn out not the best.
Yeah. Yeah, because, if you see other people look like they all fit in together, in this group, these people don't fit in together. But then if you feel like you don't fit in anywhere, you're going to do whatever you have to probably try to fit into something. So maybe you weren't encouraged to be athletic, so you're not going to fit in with athletes. Or maybe you weren't necessarily encouraged to be, like a straight A student, so you don't really fit in with a group of people that are a little bit more intellectual. So then where do you fit? And I think that's where a lot of I remember for me personally fitting and doing this when I was like in 7th and 8th grade. Obviously I had to grow up a little faster because I didn't really have a lot of support at home. But I remember we kind of called it the stoner group. It was the kids who actually did some drugs and stuff. But I remember getting pulled into that crowd for like 2 years because the thing about them was that they really looked out for each other. Like that was the thing. Like it seemed like this quote unquote, it's probably not the right thing to call them stoner. This is what they were. Yeah. There was like the jocks and there was the stoners, and then there was kind of the nerds. The nerds were the smart people that intimidated everyone. You know what I mean? So they had to kind of put them down with a label like that. And I had good grades. I was like an A- student all through. I threw over a 3.5 GPA all through school, but I didn't really fit in with just the kids who only did that. Yeah. And then, I was an athlete too, but was growing. Anyways, point was, me coming from a family that wasn't very close. In fact, my siblings were almost like some of the hardest people on me. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I found a place where somebody would just like support me. And of course, I remember I started dressing like them. I started acting. I started doing bad things like they were doing because I so badly wanted to fit in somewhere, but it's not really my nature to want to fit in with a group that's not doing good things. Like I'm kind of justice matters to me, but my desire to fit in at that age and that season was so great that I was willing to do that. I just think it's important for parents to realize this. Because if you don't keep an eye on this, your kids, next thing you know, what is their circle looking like? And you have to recognize they're trying to fit in somewhere for certain specific reasons, whether they're telling it to you or not. Right?
Yeah, and I think that's one thing that leads to the point of like going out to have parties and stuff like that, or like even prom and like homecoming, all those things. I feel like one thing that you guys have really done well is like, you won't take that away from us, but you also want to know what circle we're in first before we go into it.
Correct.
Yeah. It's like the interview. We always talk about the person that wants to take us out or something like that is going to get interviewed by dad first.
Oh yeah.
And it's just like, you and mom want to know our circle of friends before, like, even when we go out and have like, sometimes we have lunch with some of our friends, it's like, what friends are these, that you're going out with. And I feel like parents don't always pay enough attention to that. They're just like, oh, you guys are teens, go out and have fun, do your thing. But you don't know what kind of fun they're having, even what kind of circle. That's probably why they're acting the way they are, because they're just trying to fit in.
Yeah, and I think it's a difference too between like my generation to yours. In my generation, there was I just feel like there was more of a standard in general about how you treated people, what it would mean to be on a date. And just the average parent would not allow any boy to mistreat a girl, right? Or something like that. It's not really like that today. Today, I feel like parents have taken their hand off the wheel so much that their kids are just figuring stuff out, and they're being raised in a lot of ways from social media. Like these are their examples. And so there is a different level from us to be a little bit more safe, because we're not going to put you guys in situations that could be unhealthy for you. So we have to navigate that right now. But again, though, for me personally, this is one of the things that I think that parents can mess up. And we do this in pretty much anything. We think that other people are going to have the same experience that we had. But you have to be very aware that the world is way different today. Like, it is so different. You know what I mean? We did not have social media. Like, we did not have it at all when I was your age. Like, it didn't exist. So we didn't have everything that comes along with that, And so, yeah, it's pretty big.
Yeah, I think you're right, because that's one thing that I hear from parents. It's like, oh, I did this when I was a kid, so I'm going to let my kids do it. But it's like, you got to be a whole new level of protection for them, because the world has changed so much. Even if you want to try to bring back those memories, it's not going to come back, because it's so different right now.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's do this to wrap this up. What do you think that parents should do more of? I mean, if you're giving advice just to parents right now in general, what do you think they should do more of? In particular, with this topic that we're on about what kind of pressure you might be feeling, right? What can parents do more of?
I feel like parents should definitely be trying to have more opportunities to connect with their kid, because once you connect with your kid, then they'll open up to you, and then you can be able to guide them through this stage of their life. So I just say, make more opportunities. Don't put it as your schedule's too busy or whatever it is. Just like figure out whatever it is their love language. If it's quality time, go out and have lunch with them, and just like discuss different things of your life, and also open up just like other opportunities. Like, do you want to go play sports? Do you want to go do this? Do you want to watch the game together? Whatever it is, just kind of find different ways to connect with your kids. Then they start opening up to you.
Mm-hmm. It's good.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, I don't know for sure always how, like, I don't think a parent should micromanage what friends they have. You know what I mean? Because I feel like then the kid is going to feel like, oh my gosh, these are just the friends that my parents picked out. You know what I mean? But like, at the same time, you can control how your family unit is. That's one thing as a family we've learned. Our best friends are in our home. Mm-hmm. And then from there, if we find friends, great. And if we don't find friends, it'll be okay, because we have our family unit. Because I was thinking, and I'm like, you can't really decide what friends they're going to have, but you can control what friends they have in the home.
Not in this season.
Yeah, not in this season where the world is crazy, because they're just going to want to try to fit in. But if you can make your home environment a safe place for them, where they can feel like that's their place. Mm-hmm. That's one thing that you guys have taught us, especially. Like, we can have friends in sports and stuff, but it's not going to be like anything big. It's going to come and go with high school.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good point, Abby, because you're right. I think that we trained you guys intentionally how to have healthy relationship with each other. Like, we taught you what friendships boundaries are and standards, and how you give and not just take, and how you encourage each other, and how you pay attention to things about each other, and the standards you hold, and the example you set. Like, there was a lot of this built in.
Yeah.
So now when you guys are navigating the world in your season, you have an example of that you're like, okay, I have to have some freedom to start choosing my friends, but at the same time, I have this foundation.
If they're not right, then I just go back here.
That's right.
Because we always say our siblings are our best friends. Mm-hmm. We don't have any best friends except for our siblings. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's also another thing that parents also got to teach their kids, is like, not only just like the love languages between each other, but also between siblings. Because I've talked to friends, and they're like, oh my gosh, you talk so nice about your siblings. I do not talk nice about my siblings, And it's like, it just wasn't taught. It wasn't brought in. It wasn't brought in that you two should be the most connected between anybody.
And that kid, when they're telling you that, you know what they're doing. They're like, what they're really saying
they want
is
that.
Like, wow, that's really cool. We should probably do that. I don't even know how to do that. Mm-hmm. We've never done that. Should we do that? What does it look like? And they don't even have an open door, obviously, to even ask the question.
Mm-hmm. And especially if your sibling's older. Like in this instance, the sibling was older, you know, and they also had different likes. She does sports, she does singing, you know what I mean? It's like completely different, but how can you connect within that? You know what I mean? So
is there anything that you guys would say that parents should stop doing that you see them doing?
I think one thing is get off your electronics. You know, if you didn't have that in the first place, don't just get off of it. You got to show your kids an example. Otherwise, you know, I hear this all the time. It's because my parents did it. You know, I did probably because they started on their phone. It's because they kept begging you enough because you did it all the time. And they saw their friends do it all the time because their parents did it. You know, I'd say get off the electronics and start like really opening your eyes to what's going on in your world right now. Because electronics can kind of zone you out of what's going on. You got to kind of wake up to what's going on right now. The world's crazy right now with all the electronics, with all the fitting in and everything. And you got to start creating an atmosphere where you can make it a Christ-like atmosphere in your home where your kids feel safe. That's what they want. They want safety right now because it's so crazy right now.
It's
so
really
that's what I would say.
What about you, Bill?
Yeah, to kind of go off that, I remember when we would do different sports, even just like gymnastics and things like that, there would be a difference between how different kids acted so it was like we would do gymnastics, but then there would be an area for the parents to be able to watch, and you could tell what parents were just looking at their phone the whole time versus being like emotionally available and watching their kid perform, and it really changes the atmosphere, in my opinion, knowing that your parent is like watching you and really cares about what you're doing versus this is just another chore for them.
That's really good. Okay. That's great. I got so many more thoughts about this. This is a great conversation, though. I'm hoping that parents really enjoy this, you know, because parents out there, if you don't understand what your kids are facing or what they're going through in this season, then you can't lead them well.
Yeah.
And so, you know, if this gave you a little bit of perspective, I would ask you all out there to DM us or comment the word family, and we can actually send you our family blueprint, which I think will help you out a lot. So great job today, girls.
Thank you.
You guys are awesome. I'm very proud of you. You're learning a ton, and always want you talking to us about any of this stuff that when we need to along the way, right? And by the way, good job doing everything you're doing in tennis right now. It's such a like life preparer.
Yeah.
All the lessons you're having to learn, having to work with a weak partner and still trying to win, right? How to actually take a loss and compartmentalize it properly into, okay, you know, this was a good learning experience versus, man, I don't know if I can do that kind of thing. You know, also being humble when you win.
Yeah.
Right? A lot of winning in sports has everything to do with not going too high when you're winning and not going too low when you're losing.
Yeah.
Right? So that way you can keep constantly improving. By the way, this is how life just works over time. So very proud of you. Love you both.
Love you too.
Hey everyone, thanks for listening and thanks for your love and support. We hope that today's episode added tremendous value to you and your family. It would mean so much to us if you would partner with us on our mission of helping parents around the globe raise champion children in this crazy world.
To do so, simply take a moment to like and share this podcast with everyone in your network. See you next time.